Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. With a potential spoiler, we don't know if this is confirmed or not. I mean, it looks pretty good. The art matches up with the artist. This Cynthia Shepard, if you go back, this is I believe she did the Young Pyromancer. And the spacing looks all good. The set number looks good. And the mana symbol, everything looks pretty good. But I mean, this could easily be a fade card. The converted mana cost is a little bit suspect because I personally think this is an incredibly powerful card. But before we get into the details of it, this is what we think is the name has been mentioned, and it starts with an A, and we can kind of see an LI at the end there. And apparently, I was talking to Greg about the storyline, and this is a servant of Ulamog or some sort. I guess there's an Uncharted Realms with it. But so everything is matching up pretty good, and it's a core that uses black paint rather than white paint. If you look at her, it does look like she's got some black tattoos rather than the white tattoos that or paint, whatever you want to call it, for the regular core. So I think this is a very interesting card. I'm super excited if this is going to be a thing, because it's very playable in standard, extremely playable. Any sort of Deathtouch. Look at Heir of the Wilds. A 2/2 for 2 mana Deathtouch is huge. If you put Deathtouch on a 2/3, that's even an added bonus if you can get a higher toughness than power represented on a Deathtouch creature, because it only takes 1 point of damage to kill something, and then they can survive. So it doesn't trade with a 2/2. It kills a 2/2 and survives, yet still trades with a 3/3, still trades with a 4/4, and that's very important, that extra 1 toughness. So basically, this is a legendary creature, black-white, one of my very favorite color combinations. That's first ability is sacrifice another creature, you gain life equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness. Then it has 3 mana, sacrifice another creature, exile target nonland permanent. Activate this ability only if you have at least 10 life more than your starting life total. So I think that the wording is correct. I think that's how they've started to word Baron. There was the card out of Gatecrash, or actually Dragon's Maze, the Blood Baron Viscopa, and I think it says if you have at least 10 or more life than your starting life total, then it gets the plus. So the design is really cool. What I really like this in is EDH right off the back, the commander format with Karlov. They just barely had a deck released for Orzhov, and one of the commanders was another card that actually wanted you to gain a lot of life, and very similar. I mean, you're gaining life and then being able to activate ability with Karlov to exile a creature. And this one can actually exile any permanent. And the activation of sacrificing another creature in white and black is very easy to do. White and black are both notorious for tokens, or black specifically is notorious for cards that want to die. We're thinking Carrier Thrall. We're thinking Zulaport Cutthroat. This works great in an Aristocrats type build. Not an ally though, so it's not going to go in an ally-based deck for like a sacrifice and then a March of the Tomb, I think is what the deck is called, or the Rally Ancestor type deck. But where I'm really excited about this is I think this might be the card, if this is a legitimate card, that could push me into experimenting again into black-white Soul Sisters. I think it's exactly what Soul Sisters wants. I'm not really too concerned with Deathtouch, but I mean it's an added ability to be able to stare down an opposing Goyf early on. And I think that Soul Sisters does want another 1-drop. The problem with adding a color to Soul Sisters is fetching with a Marsh Flats into a Godless Shrine a lot of times and taking some unnecessary damage through lands. And the whole point of Soul Sisters is to try to get to 30 life to get your Sarah's Ascendant on board. And then this gal here, she wants to become 30 life as well. To start sacrificing other creatures. But beyond that, she has a lot of synergy with other cards, especially Spectral Processions. And if we're in black, then Lingering Souls is just a powerhouse. But at what point does that say, okay, do we want to play Bitter Blossom? Do we just throw this in a black-white token shell? And then kind of a Soul Sisters token blend? And how does that kind of dilute the value of Soul Sisters? I mean, there's not a lot of pieces in Soul Sisters that you can really mess around with. It's a very complete deck. It needs its Arc Champions. It needs the It's both the Soul Warden and Soul Attendant. The Ajani's Pridemate I still think is more powerful in a Soul Sisters build than this Eternal Pilgrim, and Sarah's Ascended as well. So beyond just the major shell of Soul Sisters, it doesn't really spice things up. I think it might be able to replace Path to Exile, but a 1-drop removal spell you could never, one of the best cards in Modern, I don't think you can pass up. Does this really replace Honor the Pure? I mean, it's kind of a non-bow with Sacrificing Spirits. And a good thing about Soul Sisters, a lot of times you don't care about your opponent's board presence as far as creatures is concerned. Where this is very, very interesting is sideboard implications when they actually have a non-land permanent that you want to exile. Ghostly Prisons are a pain in the butt with Soul Sisters to attack into. There's opposing like Jaces that can be, but it says exile as well, so like Keranos in Twin can be an issue. And there definitely is artifacts like Ensnaring Bridge that can just shut down Soul Sisters if they're a deck that gets rid of their own hand and then you can't attack into them. Soul Sisters does need to attack in to win the game. So any sort of these more obscure lockout type decks, you will have an answer. And I think this is definitely main boardable because of the activation is very easy in Soul Sisters by sacrificing just a Spectral Processions token, or in this case a Lingering Souls token. You have 3 others with the Lingering Souls. And so I'm really excited about this deck. Standard, it's just a knockout of the park. Modern, I can actually see this right on. Like, I'm not like, there's a lot of comments saying this is pretty broken in Modern. I disagree. It's actually pretty hard if you actually compare this to Teysa or Azov Sign, where you just have to sacrifice 3 white creatures to exile a creature, and then whenever a black creature dies, put in a white spirit. I think that Teysa is on about just as much power level as this card, and Teysa sees absolutely 0 play in Modern. Commander, this card's bonkers. This is a wonderful card. It's everything you want in a black-white deck. It can get rid of pesky enchantments, artifacts, creatures, planeswalkers, and anything but a land that's giving you a problem. Very easy activation. A lot of the white decks are built around sacrifice type archetypes or life gain archetypes, and this fits perfectly. Lingering Souls, of course, will be the best friend here, and other mass token producers, which is, there's so many in white, and quite a few in black as well, that this will pair up great with. Anyway, let me know what you think about this card. Again, it's a potential spoiler. We don't know if this is a real card or not. People have been putting out very good fakes lately that, trick a lot of people. So we'll have to wait and see if this does come to fruition. But it definitely gets my approval. A beautifully designed card. Let me know in the comment section below where you think this would work out in Modern, Standard, Commander, any other implications I may have not quite discussed here in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.